This one's for love, for mothers that's grieving. This for that dreamer in that class that's underachieving. This for believers whose faith is all.
Why they not trying to let the greatness be great, Head? What's going on?
I don't know. That ain't mine. I got the fastest internet in California.
You what?
I got the fastest internet in California.
You know what? I believe you do. And for reasons that I will not share on this live.
For real.
For reasons I will not share. But I don't want to, I'm not going to hold you long. I appreciate you coming through. If anyone, for anyone that just tuned back in, this is my segment. This is, I'm Monique. This cat right here, DJ Hed, is just like the coolest, craziest dude in his own way, and he is setting all kinds of bars. So I'm using these Mondays during Black History Month to salute and put a pedestal on a few Black men that I feel are just on the money. So Hed, for those that don't know. Listen, you already know what a few things that may happen in the background. So we gonna, if you see or hear, keep it moving to the right.
It's all good.
You already know. Introduce yourself, Hed. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. You know, I'm sure 50 million people that are on here already know who you are. I'm sure they're dying to get to you. But let us know, tell us who you are briefly. I'm
DJ Hed. I am custodian at iHeartMedia. I dump trash. I'm a librarian. I am a Black man, and I spend a lot of my time trying to assist people out of their circumstances.
Assist? So you throw assists. You throw a lot of good assists around, huh?
Yeah, my brother that he's leading the league in assists. I'm trying to take that crown.
You trying to take that crown? I'm here for the assist. You know what? That brings me to the first point. Well, it wasn't gonna be the first point, but you know, as a DJ on 92.3, I know that artists are always trying to throw their music at you and put me on. But one thing I love and respect about you, Hed, is you show support and drop jewelry in so many other ways. And I think that people kind of miss those alley hoops a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because it's sometimes we want what we want. Well, a lot of times we want what we want, but I'm not a music artist. So I'm not the one that's trying to get you to play my record, but you throw so many other alley oops. Cause you got a lot of tools under your belt. So I think share with a lot of because I'm sure a lot of them are on this live right now. What are some of the other gems that you drop and share with people that may go outside of just music that they can benefit from you?
I just try to assist where I have information. I have a lot of information, and I think that knowledge is power. Knowledge is actually the key to everything. It's the key to life. It's the key to the universe. It's the key to self-discovery. And I consume a lot. I do books. I was up till about 2:30, 3 in the morning last night, just on YouTube, just learning about different cryptocurrencies, exchange rates and different shit like that. And I think that I have a lot of information to offer in other realms outside of just contributing to people's radio plays or playing their music or hosting their mixtape or DJing their parties. And so it's kind of like I was in a clubhouse room, right? And I was talking to these girls, and they were like, I was asking them what they bring to the table, right? And I was like, I asked the questions, right? So I was like, outside of how women say, oh, I bring this to the table or I bring this to the table. I was like, but what are the actual that you bring to the table? Give me a list of tangibles that you bring to the table when it comes to what you offer to a man, right? And a lot of them were just stuck on stupid. They didn't, what you mean? I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? What do you actually bring to the table, right? Because I'm a traditionalist, I'm a caveman, so I believe in the protect and the provide aspect of a man's role, right? So I was asking them, what are the tangibles that you actually bring to the relationship? They were just like, well, I'm a reporter and I hold my, yeah, but what does that actually mean in real life, right? Long story short, they were saying that they just want to be acknowledged because they bring more to the table than vagina. And I'm like, okay, cool. What else do you bring other than vagina, right? It was kind of like, well, I care myself. That's a you thing. That doesn't happen. So I say all that to say, I bring more to the table than just playing people's records. You know what I'm saying? There are people who have made money in real estate. There are people who have made money in stocks. There are people who have made money in cryptocurrency. There are people who I've put in the room they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. I've walked people direct. There's a guy whom I play. I'm not gonna get into the details, but there's an artist in Los Angeles whom I don't play on the radio. And I've walked him into a meeting at a record label with a huge legendary record executive. So what I'm saying is the value is not necessarily in contributing to your plays or your spins or your music. The value is in the relationship.
Cultivating the relationships, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a huge, I mean, first of all, this is exactly why I brought you on today and why I wanted to do this, because I think that we see just space and people are we're in this like microwave society, which we have been, and I think we will continue to be for a long time, but we can utilize each other as a community on so many other levels, you know what I mean, than what people see at face value. I will say that I for sure, like I'm a newbie to stocks and all that good stuff, but I kept seeing Hed posts, Tesla, get in Tesla, get in Tesla, get in Tesla. I'm telling you, and I didn't know where to start. I started just looking on YouTube and first of all, while Google is free, everybody needs to take advantage of Google while it's free, because it will not be free forever. Let's put that down. But I threw in, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but let me throw something at Tesla. And I said to you, I texted you this morning, it was like, thank God for that stimmy, because we going in with Tesla. And what happened with Tesla? What did they do this morning?
Well, Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're going to start accepting Bitcoin as a coin at cars and shit like that. So, I mean, the thing I always tell people, like, I was talking to, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was talking to one of the homies, and I was just like, people just refuse to adapt. Like, a lot of people are afraid of the internet. They're afraid of technology. Oh, technology is going to take over, and robots are going to rule the world. Well, you'd rather be the one programming the robots? Like, saying, like, I'd rather be, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at, like I'm a nerd, right? So I look at, like, Marvel films. I'm looking at Transformer movies and shit like that. I'm not mad at the robots. I just want to be in.
Right.
Like, I'm mad at Wall Street. I'm not mad at Elon Musk. I'm not even mad at Donald Trump for being capitalist and taking advantage of the system. I just want in.
1,000.
That's it. I just want in. I'm not mad that you didn't pay, like Jeff Bezos didn't pay any taxes, and he's, you know, second richest man in the world. Like, I just want to know the game. That's it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I personally feel like if we change the perspective of our thinking, instead of like keep saying, well, this person is doing this person's doing, like, get the information. You know what I'm saying? Like, get the information. If we don't know about it, learn about it, use each other to educate ourselves on it, and re-up. And that's how we come up as a community. And I think that's where we fall short as a community. What do you think about, where do you think about some areas where we fall short as like a Black community, period?
I think there are a lot of people who don't want to know the information. There are people who choose ignorance, and that's okay. Like, you can choose ignorance, but don't expect everybody else to participate in the ignorance. So I know some people right now who are like, just take my money, and whatever you do with your money, do it with mine too. It's like, no. Like, one of my homegirls hit me with that this morning. She's like, can I just pay somebody to do it for me? I said, yeah, in theory, but niggas are gonna nig. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are gonna nig. If nothing else, niggas are gonna nig.
Period.
We got to figure out a ways to stop nigging so much and start getting educated and start applying ourselves. It doesn't take any time. Like there are YouTube videos that will break stocks down to you in less than 10 minutes. There are YouTube videos that will break cryptocurrency down to you in less than 10 minutes. There are YouTube videos that will break real estate down to you in less than 10 minutes. It's just about being about applying yourself to what you want to apply yourself to. People will binge watch Real Housewives for 16 hours, but won't take 10 minutes to learn about stocks or bonds or mutual funds or real estate. Or it's like, well, if niggas gonna keep nigging, the others are gonna keep running the world. What you want me to do?
Case in point. Period. When did you first like know that you, not first know, but what happened in your childhood, or were there any like events or people around you in your childhood that like you knew that you were like doing something different and thinking differently and wanted to know more, like apply more knowledge into your life other than going to like the street life? Because we all know, you know what I'm saying, just like real talk, like it's very easy for especially Black men to just go to the other direction. What kept you going to the other direction?
Just I grew up around it. Like to this day, like for instance, I don't drink and I don't smoke. Well, you know that, but for people that don't know, I don't drink and I don't smoke, right? And the reason that is because I grew up in those environments. Like I came up watching growing up in the gut street. I have drug addicts family. Like I saw people in my family completely transformed from being this person to a whole nother motherfucker. And I'm just like, so that's what that life is about. I'm like, I'm cool on that, right? So I was able to, I had the wherewithal at a young age to be able to discern, to have discernment, right? But then also my mom is a full fade. Like my mom, I don't know the timing, right? But you know what it is. Like a single Black mom that's a different thing. A single Black mom is y'all are superheroes, right? So I look at my mom as being a superhero because I remember when we lived in Linwood, we lived in a hood called Cross Atlantic. It was Cross Atlantic Pyrus, right? And so we lived in this hood in Linwood, and I remember like I started like I would not be able to identify the gang members and be like, nah, I'm cool with what they doing. But I was getting into trouble, right? Now, I think I was getting into trouble because I was bored with the curriculum. I was a student, A and B student when I was in Linwood because the education is not as good as other places, right? So I was honor roll every month and all that in Linwood because Linwood is the hood. I'm from the East Side. So Linwood is where we was at in the hood. I was an honor roll student. But then when you go over to other school districts, I was a D student. So that taught me curriculum, right? But before we even get there, I started hanging out with the wrong people in my neighborhood. And what that did was my mom, I don't remember the timing, but for what it seemed to me, fourth grade and the fifth grade, my mom packed the house up in 2 weeks and we was out of there. She was like, y'all not going to get my son. So my mom packed the house up and we moved to Lakewood from Linwood, right? Now, Lakewood is a whole nother area. It's still further east, but it's a nicer area, right? Or at least it was back then. And I started going to school out there with the Asians and the white people and shit like that. And I went from being an honor roll student, an A and B student, to being a D student. That taught me, oh, the curriculum where I'm at in the hood is not even comparable to what they teaching these white people over here, right? That was the first light bulb that went on in my brain. Like, oh, we're not competing. We're not even getting the same education, right? That was in the fifth grade that happened. Then, and I've been a latchkey kid my whole life because my mom always had 2 jobs or whatever. So
Explain what that is. I know what that is, but explain what that is. A latchkey kid.
A latchkey kid is like you get a key. Since I was in second grade, I had a key to the house. Go home, lock the door, don't open the door, don't answer the phone yeah. So being on your own, like you kind of like learned. I grew up fast, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that aged me fast. Then if you fast forward, it was just me and my mom up until she had my brother and sister, and then you know they dad wasn't really around either. So now I'm taking on a leadership role, right? So now I'm helping to raise my brother and sister as a high school student, right? So I'm talking about everything. I went to parent teacher conferences, back to school nights, all of that shit. I'm doing homework. I'm giving them dinner. I'm changing diapers, all the way up until they age. Now I'm going to when you go a little later, I'm going to school full time. I got 13 units, but I'm also working 2 part-time jobs, and I'm doing radio at the college on the side while I'm taking care of my brother and sister. So like the intrinsic motivation and the work ethic that I have instilled in me is it's definitely difficult for people to understand and comprehend. But I get that from my mom. My mom, 3 kids by herself, 2 jobs, selling Avon, selling Crystal, selling candles and whatever she can get her hands on, selling she had a candy house, having 2 jobs, 3 kids by herself, and got a master's degree simultaneously. So I don't know what it's like to be regular or average, or I don't know what that's like. I only know extraordinary. I don't even comprehend like average. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to dive into the mind state of people like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where did your love of music come from? Was that where you brought up in the household? Was your mom into music? Was music playing in your house? Like, where did your love of music come from?
My music came from my homie Corey Nakahama. So when I was in high school, I was in Carson. We lived in Carson, and my mom didn't want me to go to my school. I was supposed to go to my home school in Carson. When she was going up there to get the paperwork, it was niggas getting arrested. So she was like, "Oh no, you're not going to this school. I'm transferring you back over to where you was in Cerritos." So I ended up catching the bus. I took 2 buses every day to school, to go to Cerritos, to go to Gar High School. Now, my love of music came from my homie Corey. What ended up happening was, because we was on welfare my entire life until they kicked us off when I was 18, right? So when I was going to high school in Cerritos at Gar, my homie Corey and his family kind of just took me in and let me live with them pretty much during the week, so I can go to school. It'd be easier for me to go back and forth to school because the school was closer to their house, and I wouldn't have to catch the bus to Artesia Station in Compton, to Rosa Parks. It was shady. So I ended up staying with them and going back and forth to school from Corey's house, and my mom would give his mom food stamps and shit like that to contribute to me living there. Corey would always be listening to music while we was doing our homework and stuff, and it would drive me nuts because I still have that problem to this day. The homies tease me like, I can't, like, you know, like when we on here, I don't have no TV on, I don't have no music going, I can't focus on 2 frequencies at the same time, which is a problem when I'm in the studio with artists, because they'll turn the music up and then start talking to you. I can't do that. Turn the shit down so we can communicate. So Corey, my boy Corey Nakahama, would play music while we was doing our homework. It was like West Side Connection. Like, he was listening to hardcore gangster rap, and he's Asian and white.
I was just going to say that last name sounds Asian.
Yeah, he's Japanese and white. He's mixed. And he would just be listening to all this hip hop. Plot twist, I didn't even listen to hip hop until I got to high school, because I was on the other side of things. I was the weirdo. I was a nerd. I love video games, and I love skateboarding. I skateboarded every day. I didn't even talk to girls. I didn't lose my virginity until I was like almost 19, I think. All I did was skateboard every day, and I listened to nothing but rock. I listened to alternative rock music, Blink-182, Green Day, Newfound Glory, Sum 41. That was all my shit. I didn't even listen to hip hop. Corey, which is crazy because he half white and half Japanese, he was listening to all of the hip hop, and he put me on. And so then he started putting me on because I was a Bad Boy fan. Now think about this. In the 90s, right, I know.
Bad Boy.
Listen, I wasn't a fan of the Death Row shit until the Tupac era. Because I couldn't relate to it. I wasn't a gang member. I wasn't in the streets. I wasn't a street dude. I didn't want nothing to do with the streets. None of the music was relatable to me because I was a square, right? So I fucked with the Bad Boy. They was having fun, shooting videos, partying. I related to that. So I was a Bad Boy fan more so than I was a Death Row fan until the Tupac era. That's just be being honest. So I couldn't even relate to the West Coast music until I started getting into it further with when West Side Connection came around.
Mm-hmm.
When Cube and I mean not Cube, when Mac 10 kind of came around and all that whole era came around, Nate Dogg, and when Snoop put out The Last Meal, no, was it The Last Meal? Yeah, with No Limit. I think he put out The Last Meal with No Limit. That's kind of like when I started fucking with West Coast music. And so that's when I kind of fell in love with, this is where I'm from, this is what I'm about. And I kind of stopped running away from the culture and started to embrace the culture from a different perspective, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, because I spent my whole life running away from the streets, right? Because I was on my own. I mean, it was me and my mom. You know, we was homeless, like couch hopping, living in the car, sleeping nights, whatever. And then it was me on my own while she was at work. So I would run from school and be scared because I was in a bad area or whatever. And then I would go from there to me trying to take care of my brother and sister and trying to keep them out. So I spent my whole life running away from the streets and just wanting to escape the streets and have a good time and live a great life, to now me embracing the streets because I was able to understand the street stuff from a different perspective, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So my music came from that, me having a greater understanding of what it means to be from here and a part of this culture.
Mm-hmm. So now having your dad in your life, who became or what became like your male proteges? Like what brought you into manhood? You know, because one thing as a mother, a single mother, what I do know, and being raised on one, you can give your boys a lot of other things, but you can't teach a boy how to be a man. Where did that come from for you?
Luckily I got around some big homies that kind of like, what's interesting to me is after I got of age, I think I was around when I was going to college or whatever, I met this dude named Pooh. And Pooh is Glasses Malone's brother. He's Glasses' brother. And at the time he was managing Glasses and stuff. And they kind of taught me a lot of the shit that I know. Like, honestly, I always knew certain things, like a man is supposed to protect and provide. But I learned that because it was just me and my mom. And I went and got a job. I've had a job with a check. I've had a pay stub since the 6th grade. Because I went and got a job at the cafeteria at school, and I'm a documented worker since the 6th grade. I got my first job with Social Security and all of that shit. And that was because I had the mindset I need to help my mom, because we was just struggling. Like, it was just a struggle. So I've always had hella jobs. And so that taught me the responsibility component of being a man. But as far as like the street smarts and how to move and integrity and all of that shit, that came between my big homie Pooh and Glasses. They taught me different things on how to move as a man, right? Mm-hmm. And being and representing yourself to other men. And then later on, my manager, my business partner now, Salas, taught me the intellectual component to being a leader.
So obviously mentorship is a huge.
But see, about mentorship though, right? There were a couple of people that I encountered along the way who, if I was a follower, could have led me down the wrong path, because they were into things I wasn't into. They like messing with girls. I was always trying to get to the success. Where is the success? I don't care about getting no girls. That's why I'm not a fashionista. I don't want the new Jordans like that. I don't care. Where is the success? And success means different things to different people. For me, it wasn't money. Success represents the end of an era, the end of me and my family trying to figure it out. So where is that shit at? That's what I wanted to know. I didn't want to hang out with no girls. I didn't want to go to this day, I don't go to clubs. If they ain't booked me, I ain't going. It's just, I don't care about that shit. Like, so for me, it's like, where is the success at? Because I felt like it's been hidden from me my whole life.
Intentionally, huh? Hey. All right, so you get these, you build these, you know, relationships first with yourself. I think that's the most important thing that I hear is that you built a relationship with yourself first. You know who you are, which is why I personally just knowing you and see how you move and operate. That's why you can maneuver anywhere with the streets, with the corporate, with everything, because you have a sense of self. You build these relationships, you know, find your love in music. How did you get into DJing, and what catapulted from there?
Well, I was a radio personality at school. I went to school for radio in 2004, and I went to radio broadcasting. I took radio broadcasting at Cerritos Community College, and my show, I just naturally, I don't know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to get it. So what I ended up doing was, while I was at school, I would go to Hollywood because I was hosting all of the clubs and stuff at the time, because I was just a charismatic person. I was outgoing, I was loud, same shit I'm doing now. And I would go to Hollywood or downtown, and I would talk to, like, all the promoters knew me. So I'm like, hey, give me like a couple of tickets to the show that I can give away on my radio show, and I'll host your clubs and stuff like that. We'll do a swap, or I'll do it for a discount, whatever. But I need to boost my radio show up. So I started a barter system with the promoters. So now, back in the day when Big was at the other station, when Big Boy was at the other station, I was giving away the same tickets he was giving away, right? So as I'm giving away these tickets, and my show was on Cerritos College, it was like 12 to 2 on a Wednesday, like in the middle of the day. I had like 10 people listening to me, whatever it was. But I'm like, I want to figure out this radio shit. So I got my show popping to the point where it had a buzz in the city. Like, you got to get on this dude Hed's radio show at the college. So then all of these artists and shit started hitting me up to get on my show at the college. And Pooh hit me up one day, and he was like, I need to get my artist G Malone, Glasses Malone, on your show. You know, we were Black Wall Street. At this time, game is booming. So I'm like, bring him, like, let's go. When they came on my show, they was like, bro, you hella intellectual, like, you're just smart. And we need smart people around us. Like, come work with us. I'm like, well, what I'm going to do? Well, you're just going to be my personal MC for now. Like, whenever I do shows, you're going to be the person bringing me out. So I was like, all right, let's do that. So I started running that. And then as time progressed, I would know the set. So I would be standing behind the DJ like, okay, drop out right here. All right. Right when he said that, go to the next song. So I was cueing the DJ, and then eventually I just started doing it. Like, watch out, so I just started doing it myself. And then I remember Glasses telling me, shout out to my big homie G Malone, he was like, hey, cuz, you finna be my DJ. And I'm like, I ain't a DJ. He was like, yeah, but you can learn. Like, you smart. You smarter than everybody I know. You can learn how to DJ. You can do anything. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna learn how to DJ. I always was intrigued by it because of DJ Dents and DJ Khaled and Julio G. I was always intrigued, and Battle Cat. I was always intrigued by DJing, the art of it, right? So I was like, fuck it, I'm finna learn how to DJ. So I couldn't afford equipment because I had no money. So my homie DJ Khaled, DJ Dents, and DJ BAD, they used to let me hop on before the club started. Like, right when they open the door, or right before, when they sound checking, they would just let me hop on. I'll be fucking they shit up. Like, I'll just be in there just tearing up their needles and all that, right? Because this is still crates. This is not with the laptop or the controllers. This is vinyl with the crates. And so I carried DJ Khaled's crates for a while, and then one day we did an event in Long Beach, at downtown Long Beach, and the 20s and the Insanes got into it. And they got into it, and the DJ just got on. He just left. Like, I'm out of here, packed up his shit and left. Unbeknownst to us, the party still kind of got to go on. It's still kind of early. So they was like, shit, Head, hop on. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. All right, fuck it. So I went through the club had their own little record collection, and I was just queuing this shit up and cutting it in and playing it, and I've been DJing ever since.
And the history is made. Listen, first of all, tag your infamous line. Tag your infamous line.
Which one? West Coast? It is what it is. That's the truth. I never even told that story before.
I love. Where did it come from? Real quick, because I got to bring Terrace in. You
know,
first of all, everybody's like, I want to keep going, but you know, I got Terrace getting ready to come in too. Tell us real quick about West Coast. First of all, I don't know who's not. I don't think anybody on here is not following DJ Hed, but this is history right here. Let's go. Let's get the follows up. Let's go.
The West Coast came from just a pride thing, because I felt like when the industry shifted to going towards being heavily influenced by the South and the East Coast, I felt like people lost the pride in being where they from. So like I want the whole world to know where I'm from. Like, I don't want it to ever be misconstrued, mistaken, none of that. I want everybody in the world to know I'm from the West. I'm not no East Coast. I'm not from the South. I'm not from none of that. I'm from the West. And I felt like when the music industry started to shift away from our culture and everybody kind of adopted the West Coast culture, whether it's gang culture, whether it's lingo, whether it's street, whatever it is, when the West Coast, when every other region started to adapt and take our culture and start to sample it and remix it into their own, I feel like people started chasing that. And I'm like, why are you, we not them. Like, they not us, we not them. We from here. Like, be proud of where you from. So it kind of came into this like rally call, I guess. Like, I just started saying it because I was just irritated with the whole music industry. Like, so when people would ask me a question, I'm like, West Coast. Like, what you like, that's the alpha and the omega. And then it just became the way I say yes or for sure. So it just became a thing on its own.
All right. Hey, I love you, brother. Man, this has been amazing. Real quick, one gem before you go. One gem you would drop to up and coming artists, new artists. One gem that you would drop to them.
It's a 3-part program that everybody needs, and this is not even just for musicians or artists. This is for everything in life. It's the 3 things that you need to do in order to win: be undeniable, bring value, don't take shit personal. You do those 3 things in that order, you'll win.
Be undeniable.
Bring value.
Bring value, and don't take shit personally.
Yes. That's how you.
I love you, dog. For real. Tag us out.
Appreciate you.
Hard times, but never resentment. I stay forever relentless. Let's go.